As you know, I've been experimenting through the summer with various methods of lightweight fuel to carry on longer walks, etc. And I keep returning to mess, as you probably have guessed. I've tried the gel cubes, I've tried the hard hexamen blocks, which are all excellent forms of cooking, but I think I've now made my decision once again, having revisited those fuels sources, to look more towards the meths or the biofuel. But today I'm going to show you, as I say, a close-up of the fire rope system because it gives a nice slow burn. I actually even prefer it to a trangia, to be honest with you, but maybe I'll change my mind later on in the new year. So I found the gel cubes tended to melt and make a mess of the equipment, so it's a bit of a cleaning up operation. They are ideal for the forces because they use them in small folding stoves, slightly smaller than the usual folding stove that the hexablocks was used on, and they have a fairly good tray, so the fuel tends to stay where it's supposed to stay, and it's only for one use really, I think, mainly on an operation. But the other problem I've had with the gel fuel is lighting it. You really do have to have a cigarette lighter or something more definite of flame. So I think, and the hexablocks are similar, they can be lit by a cigarette lighter if you're patient on one corner, or scrape them slightly then try again. But I don't like the idea of the fumes that hexablocks give off either, so I'm reverting back to more natural means of convenient and quick ignition cook heat source. So let's have a close look at the rope. The rope is basically available in most ironmongeries or DIY stores or domestic wood stove stores, because you use the fireproof rope around the doors to stop the smoke and the fumes coming out, and to give a good seal on the door for a log burning stove in your home. And it's that same fire rope, that's fire resistant rope, that you would buy. I think my piece of rope was about 3 feet long approximately, and it cost about 7 or 8 quid, and I've managed to cut it into, I think, 2 or 3 sections, and I've been using them. I think this is the third section I'm going to install today, which is brand new, and we can see if it burns really well. But actually, as they get charred and quite old, they still give off the meth's vapour really well, a nice gradual slow burn. So here goes, have a close look. Oh, before I get down onto the turf, look at this site. Isn't this a beautiful place for a hot cup of coffee, or well, chocolate today, on a damp cold Sunday afternoon? Sheltered. It has just been raining lightly, but nothing to write home about. But isn't this a fantastically sheltered spot? You can find these little duckets or corners of forests if you look for them, especially in quite large plantations and young plantations before they get rather mature and thinned out and more drafty. They make great hiding places from the weather. Right, let's begin. Oh, and secondly, you'll have noticed today a new friend. It's a replacement for Sunday walks. It's not a permanent addition, the terrier. And her name is Tess of the d'Urbervilles. Tess, I believe. And she's a good companion for the beagle, who's still grieving at the loss of its pal a month ago. And we are going to get another beagle to keep our beagle company. We tend to take beagles from legitimate breeding kennels, and after they've had 1 or 2 litters, we usually adopt them or foster them at 4 years old. But this time we're going to treat ourselves, I think we're going to treat ourselves in the new year to a beagle puppy, so we can train it to be almost like a gun dog, obedient. It is possible to train a beagle to be obedient if you have it from puppy. Keep running away from it and it runs after you, rewarding it, the usual routine, and get it to respond to your commands. Keep the commands simple and only 6 or 7 commands that are important, and make sure that all of those commands, by the time it's a year old, are adhered to. Anyway, on with the cook of my hot drink, rather, the boiling up of the water. See how the dog blends in completely, very camouflaged. Great companion for a bushcrafter, don't you think? So, as I said, the fire rope is simply that. And you cut it to the length you need, and you measure it by taking the base of your BCB and coiling it inside the hearth until it's full up. And like so, you just keep going round and round and round. You could start, I prefer to start like this, working my way around as firmly as I can, not any gaps if I can help it, not any big gaps anyway, so that when the mess is poured onto it, it just slides into the rope nicely and doesn't burn too quickly. And I quite like to leave a little thread in the middle for igniting, and also for pulling out if you decide to clean it or replace it with something else. So that's it, just about the correct size and length. So what you do then is you want it to be firm, in my opinion, pressed firmly and neatly like a good fitted carpet into the space required, so that it doesn't fall out in transit, and it can be there permanently for months on end without moving, and that's what I like about it. So leave a couple of fluffy bits, no harm in that. It makes it all much easier to spark light it at the ignition process. So that's the para rope squeezed in. Let's see how easy it is to light. Because I'm conscious of the terrain that I'm in, I'm going to take precautions and give a good platform for the process. So the platform today again is the windshield. Just gives a bit more stability and order in the process. Can you see that all right? Yep, that's so good. We'll put the camera down a little bit. That's better. So next stage, fuel. Again, you've seen this, I've used them quite a lot. They are urine sample bottles. You can get them in your local chemist, and they're just the right amount of fluid for a 9-minute burn, which is perfect for a brew up. Try not to spill too much around the edges. All of it goes in, and it soaks in fairly rapidly to the base. And now it's starting to evaporate. It should ignite relatively easy. Let's see if it does. Let's see if I can do it in 3 strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikes. Normally it takes about 2 or 3 strikes. But hey, it's working, and that's what's important. Then we close over the crossbar, and careful not to burn ourselves, and then on with the boil pot. And that should cook up very quickly. And in with the water. I'm going to have a generous 1/3 to 1/2 mug. Perfect. Always like to leave a little bit behind for cleaning up. And then, to help it cook quickly, to boil quickly, a little bit of cover. It's grown up with a whole family of children, 4 children and 2 adults, so it's used to being in a group, and therefore it hangs around quite happily. And of course the other dog, it's so much happier today because it has company, another canine friend. Again, quite good camouflage, a beagle, apart from the white bits. And that's been running for only 2 minutes, if that. And already there's evidence of steam. It's giving a good burn, isn't it? There are some people who swear by hexablocks, and no complaints about that. It's a personal choice. You just have to work out what suits you best, really, for the terrain that you occupy as well. It's been bubbling away nicely for about, I would say, 4 minutes maybe. So it's not been on long, and already it's looking good. It's because there's no wind here today, even though it's quite a chilly day. There isn't any breeze at all. That makes a big difference. So also to have a windbreak is and a lid for your BCB mug is a really good option. And let's have a look. It's not quite boiling, so I'm going to leave it a bit longer. In fact, I'll just let the mess burn out. That's the whole point, is seeing how long it will go for. So it should be about 8 or 9 minutes. And another thing I should mention, I suppose, to my subscribers and viewers is thank you for subscribing. I've been going about I think 8 months now, and I've got about 150 regular viewers or subscribers, which is really nice. I put a film up and about 60 or 80 are watching it within the first week, which is really quite amazing. And I think about 7,000 viewings of my site. I started with 2 films in March, April. I think I've got about 20 short films roughly, and gathering a following. So thank you to everybody for watching my channel. I should mention as well, you've probably seen me setting up day camps and not doing many sleepovers, bug outs. There's a reason for that, and that's poor health. I have a breathing disorder, and so I have to rely on high pressure oxygen mask during the evening. But you know, I can rough it if I want to, but I tend not to because it is a fairly disturbed night. So that's the reason why I chicken out and don't do many bug outs. Not because I don't want to. I'd like to do one a month if I can eventually. Wow, that's amazing. We're boiling already. Look at this. Inside 5 minutes. It's going like a steam train. That's what I call successful. And a final look at the fire rope. As you can see, it's totally unscathed by the fire. It's no longer brilliant white. It's got some residue, but that's to be expected from the burning of meths. But even when it gets black, it still gives off a nice steady burn, even more steady than it does when it's brand new as it is today. But that did burn furiously well and created a boil within about, inside the 8 minutes, I'd say about 7 to 7.5 minute boil. In cold and windy conditions, it might take the full 8 or 9 minute burn for the half a mug to do its business. Another advantage of the Osprey bottle is that it's, as I said before, about a year ago, a big nozzle, easy to clean and easy to decant and refill. And also it's so strong you can actually use it as a prop to push yourself off the ground. It's incredibly powerfully strong. There are imitations to the Osprey bottle, but you know you've got the genuine article if it does actually say Osprey. Let's have a look, see if I can find it. Can't find it. It says made in England, and it does say stock number 973 Osprey, and that's proof, signature that it is an Osprey military quality build kit. And look, why do we have to carry the extra water home with us? We'll just decant it, and it's all lightweight, compact as you've seen before, like so, and then keeping it all together, the base with the rope is permanently installed in the fire tray, and that's the kit. How robust and bomb-proof it is. So that was a complete success. A nice pleasant hot cup of chocolate on a dark winter's afternoon. Just had a visit, by the way. I had to turn the camera off there, but just had a visit from a gigantic German Shepherd. It looked like a real wolf, but it wasn't, obviously, but quite scary. And I remember this dog 2 years ago in this plantation. We were all terrified of it because it used to howl in the distance before you saw it. But it's now, I think, 3 or 4 years old, I'm told. Just met the owner properly, who's absolutely charming, and said the dog is just barking. It's totally harmless. It's completely domesticated, but it doesn't look like that. It just goes to show, if you meet someone else with a dog in a remote place like this, it's not always because the dog is delinquent. It might be because it needs a good exercise, and it's much less threatening to have a large German Shepherd running riot deep inside a plantation than it is on the streets or parks. So you should never judge a dog by its cover. So to all dogs and dog owners who are responsible, cheers. And thank you for watching. Until next time, may I wish you a very happy winter with lots of walks and outings yourself. Take care, keep safe, and chin chin from me. Oh.